Me, 24, work night shift at electronics store. Manager says we need more women on the sales floor. Says men intimidate customers. Entire male staff pretending not to hear that. New girl starts next week. Name is Clara. Gender studies minor. Septum piercing. Walks in carrying a tote bag that says emotional labor is labor. Manager instantly obsessed with her. Says she brings balance. Says store culture needed feminine energy. All male workers now suddenly called the boys. First shift together. Customer asks where printer cables are. Clara says it is not her responsibility to educate men. Customer is an old woman. Awkward silence. I walk customer to aisle 7. Customer whispers, "What was that?" Tell her probably college stuff. She nods like someone describing a rare disease. Break room conversation gets weird fast. Clara says men only help women they find attractive. Fat guy from inventory immediately stops helping everyone. Manager laughs too hard. Says she has a point. Inventory guy looks personally assassinated. Few days later, corporate sends us to mandatory workshop. Title is Rethinking Masculine Spaces. Held in a hotel conference room. Speaker says men interrupt women constantly. Asks for examples. Middle-aged dad employee raises hand. Speaker interrupts him immediately. Room goes silent for 3 full seconds. Clara almost dies laughing. Dad employee just lowers hand slowly. Like a wounded animal, workplace vibe gets tense. Men stop joking around. Nobody wants to risk human resources complaint. Entire store sounds like library now. Manager notices morale dropping. Says toxic masculinity causes emotional withdrawal. Male employees literally cannot win. Clara starts live streaming during lunch breaks. Talks about surviving patriarchal retail environments. Film stockroom like it is a war documentary. One clip goes semi-viral. Calls our assistant manager emotionally colonial. Assistant manager is Filipino immigrant father of 4. Does not even know what colonial means in that context. Guy from warehouse starts watching men's rights videos. Suddenly quoting divorce statistics near microwave. Everyone tells him to calm down. He says nobody cared when men were mocked first. Clara overhears, says male victimhood is performance art. Warehouse guy says feminism became human resources with astrology. Entire room explodes. Manager walks in halfway through. Looks like substitute teacher entering prison riot. Corporate sends another trainer. This one is a man. Soft voice. Wearing cardigan in summer. Says masculinity itself is not bad. Clara visibly disappointed. Thought he would denounce men entirely. Trainer says young men feel isolated too. Room suddenly attentive. Warehouse guy almost emotional. Says first reasonable thing he heard in months. Trainer says feminism should not become revenge. Clara says patriarchy always frames accountability as revenge. Trainer nods carefully, like man walking through minefield. After session, everyone awkwardly nicer for 2 days, then disaster hits. Female customer accuses inventory guy of flirting aggressively. Says he made her uncomfortable. Entire management goes nuclear immediately. Guy says all he did was recommend laptop case. Security footage has no audio, looks bad because he smiles too much. Manager suspends him pending investigation. Guy has wife and newborn at home. Store group chat turns radioactive. Clara posts vague tweet. Says consequences feel like oppression to privileged men. Warehouse guy replies with 30-paragraph essay. Includes Roman Empire comparisons somehow. Human resources locks comments. Entire store divided into factions now. Women employees say men are becoming hostile. Men employees say everyone terrified to speak. Older cashiers just want retirement. Meanwhile, customers sensing tension. One woman asks if we are unionizing. Tell her somehow worse. Inventory guy returns after investigation. Complaint unverified. Manager quietly reinstates him. No apology. Guy now emotionally hollow. Stops smiling entirely. Customers now complain he looks threatening. Cannot make this up. Clara starts dating assistant manager. Same guy she called emotionally colonial. Entire store notices instantly. Warehouse guy says feminism always collapses into hierarchy. Dad employee says please shut up for once. Warehouse guy actually shuts up. Few weeks later, assistant manager and Clara fighting constantly. Every cigarette break sounds like sociology debate. Hear phrases like, you are centering yourself, you weaponize vulnerability, you only validate emotions selectively. Assistant manager eventually snaps. Says nothing he does is ever enough. Says he feels like defendant in permanent trial. Clara starts crying. Says men always become cruel when criticized. Assistant manager immediately apologizes. Even though everyone heard what happened, older female cashier whispers, "That poor idiot." Store morale somehow lower. Manager decides solution is team bonding retreat. Entire staff forced into cabin resort for weekend. Activities include trust falls, communication circles, silent reflection hikes. Warehouse guy says this feels like cult induction. Manager writes him up for negativity, night 1. Everyone drinking cheap beer around bonfire. Conversation gets honest finally. That employee admits he feels disposable. Says men only get noticed when useful. Older cashier says women feel invisible and less attractive. Everyone suddenly quieter. Clara says women grow up fearing violence constantly. Inventory guy says men grow up fearing failure constantly. Nobody jokes after that. Assistant manager admits he has panic attacks in parking lot. Manager looks genuinely shocked. Probably forgot men have emotions too. One girl from customer service says feminism helped her leave abusive boyfriend. Warehouse guy says internet masculinity forums helped him stop hating himself. Everyone uncomfortable because both statements sounded sincere. Bonfire becoming accidental therapy session. Manager clearly losing control of narrative. Then Clara says, "Women are still oppressed though." Warehouse guy instantly replies, "Then why does society care more when women cry absolute silence?" Fire crackling like soundtrack. Older cashier says both genders manipulate each other differently. That employee says social media poisoned everyone's brains. Assistant manager says maybe everybody wants empathy without responsibility. Clara gets angry. Says discussions always derail into protecting male feelings. Inventory guy quietly says male feelings only appear when blamed. That line hits harder than expected. Even Clara pauses. Night ends awkwardly. People drift back to cabins in silence, like survivors after natural disaster. Next morning. Mandatory sharing circle. Manager asks what we learned. Warehouse guy says men and women both weaponize victimhood. Manager visibly sweating already. Clara says structural inequality is not same as personal pain. That employee says personal pain still hurts. Nobody claps. Trainer from earlier somehow returns, probably corporate damage control. Asks everyone why gender conversations become hostile online. Inventory guy says because empathy became political currency. Older cashier says because loneliness makes people tribal. Assistant manager says because algorithms profit from resentment. Trainer writing notes furiously. Like he discovered hidden civilization. Then Clara says men created the system. Warehouse guy immediately says women enforce it too. Both talking over each other now. Manager tries mediation. Accidentally says females. Entire room detonates. Clara says reducing women to biological category is dehumanizing. Manager apologizing instantly. Warehouse guy laughing so hard he chokes on coffee. Retreat ends disastrously. Corporate sends survey afterward. Every response either furious or depressed. Couple weeks later. Assistant manager and Clara break up. Store atmosphere somehow improves immediately. Clara starts posting breakup essays online. Says emotional labor destroyed her spirit. Assistant manager starts going gym 6 days weekly. Warehouse guy calls it ideological character development. Dad employee tells him to touch grass. Warehouse guy says grass is patriarchal construct. One afternoon, teenage boy comes into store, asking advice about gaming laptop, clearly nervous around women employees. Clara notices, asks why boys fear confident women. Kid says his teacher said masculinity causes violence. Entire staff freezes. Kid continues. Says he is scared of being creepy accidentally. Says he avoids talking to girls now. Clara looks genuinely disturbed. Like hearing unintended side effect for first time. Older cashier gently helps kid pick laptop. Treats him like normal human being. KID visibly relaxes. After he leaves. Nobody talks for a minute. Assistant manager quietly says, "That cannot be healthy." Clara says women still deserve safety. Inventory guy says boys deserve humanity too. Again, nobody has counterargument ready. Months pass. Store settles into weird ceasefire. People less ideological now. More tired. Warehouse guy stops watching rage podcasts. Says they made him miserable. Clara deletes activism account temporarily. Says outrage was consuming her life. Dad employee becomes unlikely philosopher. Keeps saying modern people confuse being heard with being healed. One busy Saturday. Middle-aged couple starts screaming near checkout. Husband says feminism ruined marriage. Wife says patriarchy ruined her self-worth. Entire store listening secretly. Couple keeps escalating. Finally, wife screams. I just wanted you to care about my feelings, husband screams back. I wanted mine to matter too. Dead silence across entire store, even children stop moving. Cash register beeping in distance, couple suddenly look embarrassed. Like they accidentally exposed something private about humanity itself? They leave separately, nobody says anything for a while. Older cashier quietly mutters. There it is. That night after closing. Assistant manager sitting alone outside, smoking cigarette in rain. I ask him if he is all right. He laughs tiredly. Says whole gender war feels like divorced parents forcing kids to pick sides. Says everybody talks about justice. Nobody talks about forgiveness. Do not know what to say. Just stand there listening to rain. Few weeks later, corporate shuts down diversity workshops. Budget cuts officially. Unofficially probably too many complaints. Manager acts relieved honestly. Store slowly becomes normal again. People joke carefully at first, then naturally. Inventory guy smiles again eventually. Clara still works there, less aggressive now. More human somehow. Catch her helping teenage girl apply for college one day. Telling her confidence matters. Telling her not to hate men just because internet profits from rage. Did not expect that from her. She notices me overhearing, looks embarrassed. Says she got tired of fighting ghosts online. Says anger made her feel powerful until it made her lonely. Warehouse guy overhears too. Says masculinity forums did same thing to him. Entire break room weirdly peaceful. Dad employee eating yogurt silently. Says maybe extremists are just sad people with internet access. Everyone laughs harder than expected. Few months later, store holiday party. Cheap decorations. Terrible music. Manager drunk on boxed wine. Manager gives speech. Says team survived difficult year together. Says learned importance of dialogue. Warehouse guy whispers. He learned importance of lawsuits. Almost choke on drink laughing. Then manager says something unexpected. Says he spent whole year trying to manage optics instead of people. Room gets quiet. Says he treated men like threats and women like symbols. Says both were unfair. Manager actually tearing up slightly. Nobody knows how to react. Assistant manager pats his shoulder awkwardly. Clara raises cup eventually. Says everybody became caricatures of themselves online. Says real life was Messier. Inventory guy raises cup too. Says maybe pain does not care about ideology. Dad employee says now this sounds like therapy cult again. Room erupts laughing. Party finally relaxed. People dancing badly. Warehouse guy somehow flirting successfully with cashier. Manager asleep near vending machine. Step outside for air. Snow falling lightly. Assistant manager joins me. He says funny thing is nobody actually changed sides. Just stop treating each other like enemy factions. Say that sounds healthier? He nods. Says internet convinced everyone relationships are court trials. Says real life works better when nobody keeps score constantly. Then Clara comes outside too. Hands us both cigarettes. She says feminism taught her women deserve dignity. Says internet feminism taught her men deserve suspicion. Says she had to learn difference herself. Assistant manager says masculinity podcast taught him strength matters. Says internet masculinity taught him empathy was weakness. Says he had to unlearn that too. All three standing there quietly, cold air, parking lot lights buzzing. Warehouse guy bursts through door drunk, yelling that gender discourse is ruining karaoke. Dad employee behind him screaming. Stop talking about sociology during Christmas songs. Entire party collapsing into chaos again. Watch warehouse guy argue feminism with karaoke machine. Machine playing love ballads at full volume. Assistant manager sighs deeply. Clara starts laughing uncontrollably. Suddenly realize nobody here actually hated opposite gender. They just hated feeling unseen. Go back inside. Warehouse guy now singing heartbreak song passionately. Manager crying beside him for unknown reason. Older cashier turns to me. Says men and women been misunderstanding each other for 10,000 years. Ask if she thinks things will improve. She shrugs. Points at warehouse guy and Clara drunkenly arguing over song lyrics together. Says, probably not. Honestly fair.